that's it.
Yeah, it's been happening.
And Shane isn't loading for me either. I just see 3 dots.
I see Shane.
Everybody's
New
loaded in
avatar
for me,
system.
so
I see Shane, but I
Interesting.
don't hear him.
How you doing?
I'm good. I've had 2 weeks of trying to get a new car and sort everything out at home, so I've not really been on VR much. Nipped in ever so often, as you've seen, but not been on much at all.
Cool.
2 weeks, you say, Pony?
2 weeks I've not been on. Normally I'm on every
Barry.
day, but for 2 weeks I've been just the odd day.
It sounds like a
Nipping in.
software
Plus I've been
deadline.
ill. Yeah, we can't have too long away, can you?
No.
I've been ill and everything, so I just needed just to reset, as a software deadline would say.
Cool.
It is good to have a break sometimes.
It is good to have a break. It is good.
Yeah, when you're car hunting and everything else, yeah, it's not good. Spend loads of money, but hey, it's good. I've got a car; it'll do me.
Guess what I built today in Banter, or today and yesterday?
Can you hear me?
Well then,
Can now, yes.
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Yes, Shane. I can
you
see
check
you.
the version in your settings menu on the off chance shows like you might be on. Maybe you're on a different version.
1987.
V1.0, 1987, Unity
it.
6000.6. Sorry, 6000.26F2.
Yeah, that's what I'm on.
Same as me.
And I can see him pretty well.
Can you feel
I can
free
rejoin.
to
Yeah,
do a bug
rejoin's the
report.
best bet.
Yeah. There he is.
There he is.
Barry loads straight in. That's good. Yeah, Dutch and Shane, you're still not loading for me. You both have ...
And you're on a
I can see a
PC.
name, but I
using
can't see
custom
anything else.
avatars, right? That's the
Yes, that's the only difference.
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do a bug report just a second. I'll take a look at that and see what's going on. You can also try clearing the cache and reloading if you want. In the
Hello,
short term, see
Pony.
if that doesn't fix it.
Yeah, Wolf.
Okay.
Iron Wolf.
Okay.
Hello, Barry.
Clearing the cache.
Hello.
Hello,
Okay.
Dutch. Hello, Suzuki.
Hey, what's going on,
Shane.
Irewolf?
Hey. Just running the bug report.
So what's happening, folks? What's everybody been up to?
Battlefield 6.
Right.
Watching TV. Chilling out and watching TV.
What have you been watching on TV?
Anything that's on, to be honest. just a nice bit of a reset. Just chilling out and just not going on my PC and just watching crap on TV.
Gotcha. Nice.
Strange.
Well,
Now. Oh no, Pony's loaded.
Well, myself and Shoseki and a few others have been hoofing that AI code into us like it was some sort of Class A drug, haven't we?
I guess I can't see if you're looking at me, so yeah. I was saying a second ago. I just see 3 dots. But
we
yeah,
get together in like early morning dens in Discord channels. We gather and share nonsense. We're all talking at each other, talking about different things.
I can stop at any
It's
time.
crazy.
Okay, it's not a problem.
Crazy.
It's cool.
It's
I feel
grown
alive.
to like 4 or 5 people. Oh god, it's hard to ignore though. It is hard to ignore. God, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. I am getting close to the end of a big block of work, which I think is going to represent probably one of the biggest updates that the SDK and the overall stack has had in quite a while. Yeah, I guess one of the biggest things I've been working on is the new browser plugin, right? I've had a prototype of the browser plugin in the game now for probably about 6 weeks. And it's kind of been out there in testing for that amount of time. But now I'm rewriting a whole new browser plugin that's our own, that's going to make things a lot easier for us. And honestly, I think it's really cool what I've managed to get it to do. Like I'm thinking about some of the problems that we encounter here in Banter, right? And trying to see if we can fix that in a browser plugin. And yeah, one of the things I've been working on for the last few days is the sound, right? You know, the way, unless you're using the video player that has some special stuff in it, if you do like a live stream or whatever, then there's no spatial sound on the browser, right? So it means that, yeah, you need something like what FireRat had, where you can adjust the volume somehow, or something else to that effect. But over the last day or two, I've managed to, I think, I'm still testing on all platforms, but I think I've managed to come up with a neat way to just make that audio spatial by default. In fact, to be able to go beyond just the default behavior and, yeah, be able to set the position of audio elements or audio code, let's say, as part of how you use them, right? So you'd be able to specify, you know, settings that you would see on the Unity audio source, kind of mixed together with all the settings and functionality that you've got in the browser, which kind of creates this mad environment where there's loads of really cool audio stuff. I've got basically now a setup where you can stream audio from anything going on in the browser through to Unity land, right? In a nutshell, that's probably the best way I can explain it. And when I do that, I kind of cut the audio off in the browser so it doesn't play there, and instead it plays in Unity land. And yeah, so far it seems to be working pretty well. And yeah, there'll be some extra bells and whistles there around how you can position audio from the browser, right? I'm not sure what you could do with that, but you could experiment with spatial sound and create, I don't know, 5.1 experiences through a web page just by having little audio players, right? Which are very basic things in a web page. But yeah, the thing that I'm using under the hood, I don't know if I've ever mentioned it before. It's a technology which I've done a fair bit of work with, I would say, over the years. It uses something called WebRTC. I don't know if anybody's called that or heard of that. It's web real-time communications. It's basically how the video streaming works, right? So anybody who's used the video streaming in here, that uses WebRTC to stream the video. But I'm using that protocol to stream the audio between the browser and Unity land. And yeah, I'm also now able to use that same protocol to stream data between the browser and Unity land. I think faster than ever before. I'm still doing some scale tests to see how well that can work, but it seems like there might be a really cool way to get a free boost on some of the internal communication channels that kind of bring all of this together, let's say. So yeah, it's definitely a pretty exciting thing. And the cherry on the cake is that we've been working to enhance the video streaming solution. And we're going to be coming out, like, if anybody who's used it, you'll know it's a bit clunky, right? But we're going to be coming out with a new version of that very soon. We'll probably be reaching out to a bunch of people to test it out, but it's going to be a much more polished and hopefully easier to use version. It's going to do some cool stuff as well. It's going to let you stream whatever you're streaming, if you want, onto your SideQuest profile, right? So you can actually have a public link that you can give people that's persistent, right? That's linked to you, that people can come and view the stream. And yeah, that particular part is quite interesting because we've also found a way to use our streaming solution in some other interesting ways, right? We've actually found there's ways you can use our streaming outside of Banter with other games and apps. So we're pretty excited about that. We're going to jump on that and try to enable streaming across the whole SideQuest platform, right? I know we obviously spend more of our time talking here about Banter in general, but this is a really nice example of some technology that we've been prototyping with for quite a while here in Banter, and how that's actually spun out into something that can actually expand and scale up to something maybe potentially pretty crazy with the enormous amount of users we've got coming onto SideQuest. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about people being able to like stream their Banter experience to the SideQuest website being something you'll be able to do pretty soon, right? Not just stream, your desktop, but also be able to stream what you're doing here in Banter live onto the SideQuest website. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I think that's pretty cool. It's going to be our own sort of dedicated virtual reality live streaming service, let's say. And yeah, it's going to be pretty cool, I think, because it's going to help to surface content on Banter and a bunch of other games too. So I'm pretty excited to be able to do that, and there'll be a bunch of different ways we'll start experimenting with surfacing that across the site. There could be ways on the individual listings for apps. It might show you if there's any streams going on. We might bring some of the streams up onto the homepage and see how they do with the audience and see if people engage with them. Right, so it's a whole new medium of content creation. And yeah, it came from what we've been playing with here in Banter, basically. So kudos to all and any of you that have ever used and given us feedback really on that infrastructure, because now we are graduating that from the prototype that we've created here into something a lot more polished and a lot more established and scalable, right? We are preparing for a world where we could see a lot more people starting to use this kind of stuff. And there's a really happy path. What's exciting about this project is there's a really happy path for us to get to quickly without having to do a whole lot of work. And we're going to get there fairly soon. And anybody who's used the streaming for any reason will reach out to you and share the new way to do it very soon, probably in, I don't know, maybe the next week or two at the most. And then, we want to see if there's anything that we've missed and there's anything that we can polish up with that before we're going to open it up to a wider audience across the rest of SideQuest, basically, right? Which is going to be an instant kind of fire hose onto that, right? We might see a whole live streaming option on the main menu in SideQuest in future, where people can kind of discover what's going on, right? And I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain that without showing it, but I guess the closest thing you could compare it to is like Oculus casting, right? It's like Oculus casting, but we're going to be able to broadcast that through the SideQuest website. That's kind of how it's going to be able to work. Not to mention also working for how we usually use it, which is streaming your desktop into VR. And actually, it brings me back to the original thing that I was talking about before I ended up on this waffling tangent about streaming and WebRTC. I was originally talking about the browser and the browser plugin that powers Banter and how I'm rewriting that browser plugin. Well, one of the features I want to rewrite or build into that browser plugin is a native way to, I guess what I'm calling cast that browser, right? So let's see if I can explain this in as simple terms as possible. It will allow you to sort of screen share from the browser that's in Banter, right? So you won't need a desktop. You'll just be able to like open a browser and then cast that browser to everybody else. And the plan is to be able to use this same infrastructure, right, to be able to do that. And I think that honestly would be pretty cool. You'd be able to visit any website and share that with other people and let them see it and interact with it. And functional browser that they can control and adjust some of the audio controls on that as well, right? So yeah, it's really interesting right now. There's a lot of cool stuff that we've built over the years that sort of sits on top of a lot of this stuff, but I've kind of peeled back a lot of those layers, especially in the last week or so. And we're really looking at some of these problems that we've had to face, and how can we make that easier? How can we fix some of that, and also make something that's maybe got some value to it as well. But yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of things that are going to be coming to kind of a completion point fairly soon. This browser plugin is going to be one of the things. A bunch of new SDK updates, new visual scripting updates are also going to be coming. But we're also going to be getting, let's see, I'm just going to spill all the beans right now. Why not? Sure. We're also going to be getting a brand new pointer, right? So for the menu, any of you who are familiar, right? In VR, you've got your pointer and it interacts with the menu. Well, yeah, basically we set Nimso loose on trying to see if we can make that a much smoother experience, right? And probably going to have a wealth of settings that are exposed for it as well. But the hope there is that we can have something that can be a lot more effective, right? Especially with laser pointers when you're trying to hit things from a distance and you want to try and keep it as smooth as possible, right? Or let's say your controls are very sensitive to just general hand shakiness anyway. I know that happens to me for sure, but yeah, we've had to re-engineer the entire pointer system because of the new Unity update. Well, when I say we've had to, we did the Unity update with kind of a cobbled together version of that, and there's a few issues with it that I'm sure some of you might have noticed on 2D mode especially. But the truth is, this latest Unity update has a whole new version of all of the things that we cobbled together. The only reason we cobbled them together is because Unity hadn't fully released this system yet, right? It's one of the things actually that's going to be available very soon is the whole UI system that powers the menu in Banter. It's going to be available for people to use in their own worlds. And it's going to be a lot easier to work with in general because it's using all of this new stuff that Unity is now officially released. They only released it as of Unity 6.2. And for any of you that know, we're now on Unity 6.2.6 F2. Probably going to get to Unity 6.3 at some point soon because that's when they also finally have full official support for WebRTC, as I'm sure you remember me talking about that a little while ago. Things are going to get interesting when we start to get a lot of this infrastructure off the ground. I actually think it's going to be really cool. I mentioned that you're going to be able to just like cast your browser, right? For anybody who's unsure of what I mean by that, it's kind of like Web Projector was in Altspace, right? Or basically the same as Big Screen, right? Where you can just have a screen that you can see and everybody else sees it exactly as you can see it, and they can hear it as well, right? And maybe you can put it up onto a big screen in front of everybody or something, right? We'll call it not big screen. small screen, or I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it should serve a lot of the same kind of purpose, right? You could just sit there and stream YouTube randomly, right, if you wanted. Now, imagine in some spaces this could be disruptive, so we'll probably make an option for space creators to explicitly disable this, but we'll leave it on by default. So you should be able to just stream your screen wherever you are in any world, right? But yeah, I mean, honestly, some of the things that I'm also playing with respect to this, and I don't know if any of you ever saw this before, but there was a prototype that I built internally of effectively a video call, right? That happened live from one space to another. I don't know if anybody was here or remembers that, or even if I showed that to anybody, but it was literally that, right? I had like a little small smartphone kind of form factor thing, and I had one of them in one space and another in another, and I was able to bridge a video call between them so that yeah, you could ring from one space to another. It was off the back of a prototype that somebody made a while ago, a long time ago. A guy called Skizot made just a smartphone that you could click on the screen, and it was honestly so cool that it inspired me to create the quick menu, which has got the direct touch support, right? That direct touch was really, yeah, the motivation to push that forward came from having something you could do that with, right? But that idea that you can do that kind of thing, and that you can maybe we start to experiment with various different ways of like live streaming or just video communications overall, right? That maybe you could have a video call with somebody through the website, and their camera is brought into VR, and they see your VR experience or whatever, right, from your camera, that kind of thing. Uh, or as I mentioned before, right, we've always kind of talked about having a way that the entire menu can collapse down into like a smartphone kind of form factor, right, where you just have it there and you can flick through it and open up different sections like their apps, basically. Uh, and yeah, then being able to just pull up your friends list, open up somebody, and if they're online in the game or they're online on the web page, you'd be able to just, call them or whatever, right? And do a video call between different spaces, or do a video call between the website and the game, or the website and the website, right? Potentially. Why not? There's a lot of things that we can experiment with there. But yeah, I mean, that's why I'm excited, I guess, about WebRTC. And it's been fun, especially in the last few days. I've been really digging in with WebRTC, and thankfully Unity, as of the next version, is finally bringing their whole WebRTC stack out of pre-release, which is really cool. It's going to enable us to do a lot of cool stuff. Yeah. I'm already using it in the browser plugin even before that release. I'm going to be using it in older versions of Unity, but yeah, it's good to see that Unity have kind of put a stamp on it and said this is released. This is this is no longer. Usually they go straight from beta to deprecated, so it's nice to just see something be released for 10 minutes. Anyway, I've waffled there for 20 minutes straight. Anybody want to dive in and shut me up and say anything or ask anything? Go ahead.
I have a question. I was wondering how the video streaming will work in game. Is that going to be like a function built into the camera to do streaming, or how will that work?
That's a good question. So the idea is to build it into a new version of the browser, right? That you'd be able to like share your browser screen. So that's one way you'll be able to do it there. But yes, then when I was talking about video calling, yeah, absolutely, it could be the camera, right? Maybe the camera is a bit more advanced. It can do like a follow mode, which lets it do like a third person mode, or like a, it tracks your face or something like that. And yeah, that could become one side of the video call. I think Facebook actually prototyped this a number of years ago, on a platform called Facebook Spaces, if anybody remembers that, way before Horizon Worlds. And you just sat around a table and you could ring people on Facebook and their videos would come into the room and be at the table. Does anybody remember that? No?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
No.
I thought it was a cool feature.
I
But yeah, it might be.
I do remember
Yeah.
there being a button in Altspace which you could open up the browser, and then there'd be like a little share button at the bottom, and then the browser became visible to anybody, so you could like show off videos and stuff live.
Yes, that was the web projector. So yeah, at the most fundamental.
I'm not talking about the the Edge. I thought that was the web projector. That was the plug-in in Edge that then streamed to something from your desktop into Altspace. I'm talking about something where you literally just had a window with the browser, and then you clicked a little like broadcast button at the bottom, and then that pop-up suddenly became visible to everybody.
Oh, I see what you mean. So like you have like a personal browser you're moving around with, but then there's a bigger one in the space, and you can like move your one onto that one.
No. Imagine if I just press the button to bring up the browser here, so now it's in front of me, but it's only visible to me. I mean, at the moment, if I go into my thing, I can click toggle the web browser. I now have my browser in front. It just says welcome home, and if I click on the little question button, it's got that click drag, the demo that you put in here. But in Altspace, there was a little browser that said share, and suddenly that browser was visible to everybody else who was in the space, and I could do whatever I wanted on that browser, and it would suddenly be visible to everybody just floating there in space. Obviously,
And that wasn't the web projector.
No, the web projector, as I said, was a plugin for Altspace, but the plugin was run as a Microsoft Edge plugin, and you'd
Yes.
install it, and it would basically act like the Chrome share screen thing that people are using already, and then you could go from that into Altspace. That was the web
Just like casting it.
as far as I remember.
Gotcha. Well, I don't remember the second thing you're talking about. Yeah, but I mean, I guess they're basically achieving much the same functionality, right?
Well, one is from your desktop, so you still need to have a desktop because you're sharing something from your computer in. I think that's more like big screen, although you said you're going to replace that because you won't need the desktop anymore. But the bit that I said a second ago, you just had this pop-up window and you click broadcast, and suddenly it was shareable to multiple people. I mean, that's potential. Yeah, just use your headset.
Yeah, I honestly that's exactly what I'm kind of talking about. But I wasn't aware that Altspace had any feature like that. Last time I was in there, I was active. They were cutting the browser. They were getting rid of the browser. So I'm surprised to hear that they added any new features that allowed you to broadcast that within the game. Yeah, not sure is my response. I don't know what that is or how that worked. But it sounds like it's pretty much the same as what we're talking about, right? It's going to be a shareable browser. Like, I think big screen is probably the best example I can give that's probably going to make sense to the largest group of people, right? I'd say more people here have at least at some point tried big screen and get the premise, right?
Yeah.
It's surprising that big screen actually doesn't have this kind of functionality, right? That's actually something I would have thought big screen would have. Stop me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I'm pretty sure that big screen you can only share from a PC. Even on Quest, you can only share from a PC, as far as I remember.
I think you can share from your headset as well. I know they have. So you
Oh,
can actually
really?
stream files from your
Yeah,
headset.
you can.
Yeah.
I think is that a thing where you, as long as you've got the file on each headset, that it will just synchronize the timings.
I don't think so.
I think at least one headset. As long as you have it downloaded onto your headset, you can share through their web browser, whatever it is.
Right.
Not sure how it works, but I'm pretty sure only one person has to have it downloaded onto their device.
Yeah.
On Quest standalone.
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
I've got to check that out. Because last I heard they didn't have that functionality at all.
I could be wrong, but I believe that's how it is.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe they're using a similar technology then in that case. Well, egg on my face if that's if they are already doing that. But yeah, hey, how bad? It's going to be a pretty convenient function, right? I think to be able to
Mm-hmm.
stream websites to people, right? A lot of people do Jackbox, right?
Yeah.
You can only do that currently with a PC, but this would mean that you could do it with your headset technically, right? And just run the whole thing technically inside your MetaQuest browser, because you can just open that and stream that, or some other cool things that you're going to be able to do with this. And we've already tested some of this, right? But if you have any 2D Android apps on your headset, you're going to be able to share those as well, right? So it won't be just limited to the browser. There'll be other screen sharing options that you'll be able to take advantage of too. In fact, you'll be able to just share your whole view of what you're seeing in VR from like one room and then share it to a screen in another room, right? So that could
Wow.
have all sorts of things that we could do with that, right? In terms of, I don't know, spectator use cases, or I don't know, puzzles where you can what's that? Nobody talks, or everyone explodes, or that kind of thing, right? Where it's like people in one environment having to help another person, and a whole. I don't know. We'll see. But
Ooh, escape room or something. Ooh,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Basically,
I like it.
yeah. I mean, the idea really is that there's going to be some video technology that we can apply in a number of different ways. So why not? Why not experiment with it and see how it works? And straight away, there's going to be some really handy, you know, browser slash media consumption slash communication benefits in general, I would say, in game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Hello.
that's definitely going to be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Does anybody have any thoughts about any of that? Anybody have any questions about any of the newer updates? Anybody have any complaints about stuff that I've broken and want to?
I've got a question.
Oh,
The
is it a thought or is it a complaint or is it a question?
No, it's just a question. Just a question. You mentioned about getting the video player audio source into Unity. Does that mean I'll be able to get the audio source and make lights moving in time with the music and stuff like that if you're playing a video in Unity? If you're playing a video on the browser, will I be able to access audio source and use it to affect?
Yeah,
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 marvelous.
pretty much.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, you can get into it. You can do all the like all the Unity audio source things, adjust the pitch, the spatial blend, adjust all the reverb if you want to put it into like audio zones, stuff like that. You'll have all the bells and whistles, and just move it around, right? Just place it
yeah,
wherever you want. So yeah, you'll be able to access it. The way it works right now is it just automatically creates a game object under the browser, if you can imagine in the hierarchy, and
yeah.
then sets up the audio stream into that. And then it does one game object or one audio for each audio stream in the page, right? So you might have a bunch of them in there and be able to place them in different places. And another cool benefit for that is that we'll be able to enhance like just the audio settings menu, right? And have volume controls for the browser built in, so you can turn all browsers up and down very easily, right? Because
Well, that's be good. That's
it
be very
means,
good.
Nice.
yeah, it means the audio
Mm-hmm.
will all be under one umbrella. Everything will be under the control. But yeah, yeah, there's still some testing to do to make sure that everything can run smoothly and that everything's going to be in time, and there won't be any weird hitches or clicks or pops in the sound. But so far things are looking pretty good, if I'm honest.
That's
I think
brilliant.
you also haven't mentioned how you can stream from that browser as a texture. So then at the moment, I don't know, some people have like a camera set up that faces
Oh no.
YouTube or something, and then that camera
Yes.
has a texture which then they put onto something. Like you won't need to
Yes.
do that anymore because you can literally stream it from the browser into a texture and just attach it to something.
So it should
Yes.
just be a render texture, will it?
But basically, it won't be as much a render texture. There'll be like a callback that'll be fired every time a new texture is available. It doesn't happen constantly. It happens usually if there's any major changes going on the page, especially like video playback, let's say. But it's only usually if the page size changes, right? If you change the size of the browser, it's actually changing the size of the texture under the hood. But
Got ya.
you
Got
get
ya.
direct access to those textures every time they're updated. There'll be like a Unity callback with a texture type that you can hook into and set that texture on any object every time it's updated. That's the idea,
That's cool.
pretty much.
But it's
Yeah,
live streamed though, right? Yeah.
yeah, pretty much. That'll be exactly how it works. You'll just update that texture every time it comes in, and it'll feel like it's just a video playback, right? That's what it'll seem like. And it'll be a lot more performant, right, than the current setup that we've got. Yeah, there'll probably be a new sort of paradigm we'll have to get our heads around a little bit when it comes to what browsers are and how they work. I'm probably going to have to put together, well, I will be putting together much better documentation as a cherry on the cake to this whole process. But the browser will be changing just as to how it works now. I mean, kind of changing as to how it works now. I mentioned a number of weeks back that there's already actually a new browser in here, and yeah, it's already in the menu. If you open the menu and go into the web browser, there's another web browser button on the top that toggles it into this new browser plugin. And what you're seeing there is the output for the browser that runs the space itself, right? So the hope is that that's gonna really rip the lid off of things when you can put together the new improvements to the SDK, how easy that's going to make it to understand like the documentation and like examples, sample code, right? The sample code is just going to be a lot more readable than it has been before. And the hope is that anybody who's interested like us and wants to spend the early hours of the morning all gathering around a barrel with a fire in it as we inhale big clouds of Claude code and OpenAI codecs and all sorts of different things, that you're going to be able to do a lot of stuff there, right? I don't know if anybody's interested in that or messes around with AI writing code for it. But pretty soon, there's going to be a setup where if you have a blank space and a blank slate, you can build inside the world, right? Of course. But this new browser represents an
Holodeck.
interface. Yeah, holodeck completely, right? I mean, some of the stuff that we've done here, right, in the past is going to become like supercharged, right? Like this whole world builder environment here, rather than have a wall here behind me with a selection of buttons that honestly have been painful and clunky to work with because it's Unity's legacy UI system, and there's layers of our own stuff that have to be put on top to get all that to work, and the whole thing is just is annoying. Instead, there could be like a single button. You press that, it pops open a window, and that window has a whole plethora of advanced controls that lets you control the AI world builder, right? So that would be, that would kind of be Shane's Editor 2.0, if anybody remembers that, right? But realistically, that's what Technocrat has already built, right? And at the same time as this new release comes out, I think at least the first version of his tool is going to become available. He's been back and forth on a couple of infrastructural decisions on that recently, and I think most recently he's decided to move over to using Firebase as a backend to handle all of the synchronization of that system, right? But pretty soon he's going to have like a very AI ready world builder that you can also just edit things in, store things into your own inventory, share them with other people, uh, get AI to build fully functional objects, right? Like some of the things I've seen him already build, right, just from a prompt, is things like a chessboard, a functional chessboard, right? Got AI to build that. It didn't
Wow.
produce it didn't produce great 3D models, let's say, but and he was able to swap those out. But other than that, the functionality worked, right? It was able to keep all of the moves correct and visualize them as you were making them, and had all the bells and whistles on top of a functional game.
Wow.
I'm not going
That's
to get
cool.
into too much there because I'll leave that to him. But yeah, he's doing a lot of really interesting small scale kind of functional experiments, and fairly soon it's just a question of you just ask the AI for something and it will assemble it all for you, and then you can just save it into your inventory and load it up for someone else, right? Load it up in a different world. I know a lot of people have asked for that sort of functionality to be able to just spawn objects. And yeah, just like the screen sharing, we'd probably have to let space creators turn that off, right? If they didn't want that in their world. But once again, we can turn it on by default, right? So you can have an inventory and be able to share objects with people, right? And the hope is those objects could actually be pretty functional, whether you're using AI to generate them or you're building them yourself, right? That you could actually be building them in Unity and putting a whole host of functionality into them there. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's been quite a while that we've been kind of out on this journey of making all of these significant updates, and it's been pretty much entirely driven by feedback from the community and you know dog fooding ourselves internally, uh, and Technocrat himself putting in tons of effort to build an entire UI that sits on top of our SDK, getting intimately familiar with everything that it does and doesn't do. Um, and yeah, honestly, the recent signs are pretty good because some of the work he's doing to rebuild his tools involves being able to remove a lot of the complexities he had there, and everything is becoming a lot simpler because we've improved the SDK surface overall, right? So yeah, there's going to be a lot of cool new stuff that you can do, and you'll be able to do a lot of it from JavaScript. And I'll repeat, the biggest benefit there is that anybody who's interested in AI, it's going to be possible to plug AI into this in ways that we haven't really fully even predicted ourselves, right? So if you want to get AI involved and get it to try and build things, like we're talking about adding something called an MCP, which I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it effectively serves as an API for AI agents, tools that AI agents can understand and use. And we've been talking about making banter into an MCP itself, that it becomes a tool that an AI can easily interact with, understand, and yeah, be able to do different things, right? And
Is it
honestly,
model
the
context
reason what's
protocol?
that? The,
Model context protocol,
there you go.
Yeah.
I think.
Nice one. Uh, but yeah, why that's interesting is because anybody who's worked with AI will know that the more information you can give it, the more effective it can be at what it's doing. And one thing I've really enjoyed doing with it is creating what I call a closed loop, right? Where it can see the output of its work. And therefore, if there's problems, it can just go into an iterative loop where it just continues to fix things. And if we give it access to banter, it'll be able to do more of that. It'll be able to see more of what's going on. And it'll be able to help you as you use it to build things, as you use it to generate things. It'll be able to see what you're doing. You'll be able to show it things, give it more context around what's going on. And even more than that, right? We've been playing around with a tool internally. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Chrome debugger, uh,
Yep.
which is built into Banter. It's a debugging tool that's used for Worlds, right? I'm sure somebody's seen it at some point. A lot of kids were using it to get themselves all sorts of weird powers at one point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Chrome debugger is quite powerful because it gives you like real-time access to the environment that the code is running in. You can inject more code. You can see all the output of all the code. You can inspect the entire environment and see everything that's going on. And what we've been playing with recently is a little project where um, there's an MCP interface to that, right? And what's really cool about that is that that allows the AI to get access to the debugger to see what's going on with your application at runtime. And in terms of closing the loop, that's a real big leap forward in terms of letting the AI understand what's going on, right? And it's like giving it direct access to that debugger and letting it be able to use that and be able to use that to access different things uh, in your world and be able to see them in even a way that you can't, right? So it could become a super powerful thing to have an embodied AI assistant in the future, or if not embodied, right, just powered by some interface that you've been using, right? And yeah, Barry might be able to tell you more about this. Let me put Barry on the spot for a minute and
Oh,
megaphone him. I'm sure
dear.
he'd love to tell us because he's been testing, right? You've been testing with technocrats. You've seen all of this. You know what the crack is, what the inspector looks like.
I have. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. To be perfectly honest, most of it is over my head in terms of what the programming is actually doing, but the power is much more than I expected. Um, I still don't call it AI. I call it software, but the software is getting very sophisticated, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a pretty advanced example of in-game building tools, that you'll be able to access pretty soon,
Hmm.
and it won't be the last example. Um, it's it's probably the sort of thing you would expect took a year and a team of five at a minimum to build. But he's built it in about 2 months all on his own in his spare time.
Hmm.
Uh, and I would say in future you'll probably have people that can pull similar systems together that do all sorts of crazy exotic things in frightening amounts of time, right? And yeah, it's going to be just this really interesting mashup of having a browser in a world and then the 3D world around it, and as many layers of integration between those two things as we can muster. That's definitely what it's going to feel like in the future. Um, it's going to be an enhanced browser experience inside of virtual reality. But
I
yeah, I
guess.
mean that was something. Yeah, go ahead, Barry.
Just a quick question. I know in the new home landing world, I was talking to Ellen about it, and the keyboard is stuck underneath the floor, so you can't really access it. I wonder if that's something that you have a timeline on that's not 2 weeks.
The keyboard
It's
is
not
stuck
2
in the floor.
weeks.
You mean when
Yeah.
when you want to go to a new world?
No, when you're in the new landing home landing, I can't remember exactly what it's called, where you can put
Sure.
you put your own pictures in. It's reminiscent of what was there before, but there is a big browser that's built into that, and if you click on
Gotcha.
items within that browser, you can't actually use the keyboard because the keyboard is half sunk into the floor. So I don't
Gotcha.
know if you were even aware of that, but I passed it on to Ellen, and I was just kind of curious to know if you could give us a timeline because that could be very useful as well.
Tell me, out of interest, what thing are you using that browser for that requires a keyword? Because I guess that's a big sort of almost like a
Well, you could search a world. You could search a world with it.
you could
It's
search
got
a
it's
world.
you're basically on side quests, so you can sit there and click on your worlds. I can go to my the worlds that I've built and go and look at them and stuff. If I can't type, I can't do anything with it. You know what I
It's
mean?
like
You know.
Gotcha.
instead of having the browser come up as a separate window within the quest, it'll or on the it means that it's right there in front of you, so you can theoretically you should be able to build worlds within that browser that's built into Banter.
Yeah,
Yes,
you could start a world
absolutely.
right there.
You'll be able to start
What do you mean,
worlds.
as in launch one
Yeah, basically
or build one?
build one. Well, either way.
Yeah,
I mean, you could do everything except run Unity within Banter, but I think that'll come eventually too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in the short term, I can certainly see if Aline can move that up so that the keyboard is out of the floor
Yeah, that'd be
and
good.
you can
That's
access it if
just
that's something that you want to be doing for sure.
a very small thing, but it just makes it handy when you first land in the world. There's also some timing issues with when I first come into Banter. There's everything gets choked up. I don't know what the delay is, but I have to reboot once I'm in Banter in order to or restart everything inside of Banter to get the worlds to come up. And it's the same on my
Yeah, I have
PC
to do
as
the
it
same
is in the
thing.
headset as well.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Everybody I know is having the same problem.
Yeah.
and audio's been a
You're
little
past the
bit of a
loading
problem
screen.
lately.
And audio is a problem too.
There's been
I hope you're making notes,
yeah, some
Shane.
people will be able to hear each other in the world, and some people
I am.
can't.
Cheers.
Sorry.
Yes,
I'm being
I have heard of some people having audio issues, but I hadn't heard of the problems with loading.
Yeah.
Well, that's tell a lie. We were looking at something to do with one of Shoseki's worlds, but up until now, I guess we thought it was something related to that world
No, it's all of them.
overall. But
Well, the
yeah,
YouTube player doesn't begin playing for the person who owns the world. They have to re-enter the world
Yeah.
to hear the YouTube player.
interesting. And that's just for the person that owns the world?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It seems
First
well,
person in.
definitely for the person who owns the world. Sometimes it doesn't start for when you enter world, but usually it's just for the person who owns the world.
Is it for the host? So is it the first person who joins, I guess then, right? So it's not
Maybe.
the admin as such?
That's
That
a
I
good
Yeah.
don't
question.
know.
We'd
That
have
I
to go
don't know.
run a whole bunch of tests.
But I did know today when I jumped in, it didn't actually load the playlist because I went over to the YouTube player and I looked, and the playlist wasn't there.
Right.
So it's either having problems getting the playlist up, or it's having problems, actually for the person that's first in. I
I'll
don't
run
know.
some videos
Gotcha.
on it,
First in or
Shane.
the
I'll do some videos
Yeah.
of it and send it to you. Because
Yeah.
it slows you right down. So, and
Gotcha.
one more
Yeah. No, definitely.
one more question because I'm going to ask about it. But how's the blockbuster code coming for release?
That's a great question.
Blockbuster.
That's a great question.
Every week.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to give you some new information on that, but right now,
2 weeks.
yeah, we 2 weeks. I'm just going to say 2 weeks to everything, right? It's
Yeah,
always
right,
it's always
right.
2 weeks. Everything you want,
we're
It's
going to put that
coming.
on your
It's
grave. 2
2
weeks,
weeks.
you know.
2 weeks.
Nice. Is that a threat?
Shane 2
2
weeks
weeks.
Harris.
Hey, I just built a
Put that on your
Halloween world. I got a little
grave.
tombstone. I can put your name on it. 2 weeks.
Oh boy! Right, I won't look into that at all. But uh, yeah, no, no, I've taken note of that. Thank you. And if you can make some videos, that would be
I will,
great.
for sure.
I haven't noticed anything myself, but I have been somewhat isolated in another project and
Yes.
not not as frequently. But yeah,
And if you
I
want
need
to,
to get
if you want to see this video, I'm running the video that we're taking right now pretty well throughout the week. So if you missed anything, you can come and watch it.
yeah, I'll take a look back through that if need be. Yeah, honestly, 95% of the effort is often trying to reproduce it. So if you do have or know of a reliable way to say, yeah, when I do X in this sequence,
Yep.
it always happens. That
Yep.
that kind of
Well,
gives
should
us
we
all the ammunition we need to really hammer it until we get it solved.
Cool. Thank you.
So
should we
yeah.
all just send you a log of us entering the world and not working?
No,
Yes,
you need
definitely.
videos. You need
I
videos.
encourage you to blast any logs you can, but if videos can work too, especially if there's some sequence that you have to perform, right? Some sequence of events that's going to make it, that's going to make it easier to see, really, how to trigger whatever it is that causes the problem.
Okay. Thank you for that.
No, it's good to know. I guess this upgrade to Unity 6 didn't go quite as smoothly as we'd hoped, but thankfully we've got a lot of updates hot on the tail of that upgrade. So I'm going to make sure that we get all of this included. And if we don't get a hot fix out before that, then it is only 2 weeks away, right?
Yeah.
It's only
Oh,
2 weeks
Barry.
away. Yeah.
There is
Good
yes,
movie.
about Unity. There's some funny sounding brain something. I posted it in the Discord. I asked Vanquisher about it. There's a brain driver that seems to be deprecated and slowing down the loading of Unity 6. Do you know what that's about? Here, I've got it here.
I have no idea what that's
You don't know what I'm
that's
talking
about. A
about.
brain driver.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
No.
I'll pull it up. Hang on for just a second. It'll take me a minute.
Did you upgrade that particular module?
Didn't
JetBrain.
JetBrain? That's it. Yes.
JetBrain.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
right.
Did you do something?
Yeah,
Well,
with
if you're not
It's
using
given people.
JetBrains as a product, you should be able to remove any JetBrains plugins, right? JetBrains would be probably like Rider, I think, is
Yep.
probably the only IDE I can think of
Yeah,
that
it is, yeah.
JetBrains would use with Unity. So if you don't use that, then just uninstall it from the package
Well, I don't
manager.
use brains at all. You know
Yeah,
that.
if you're not too sure.
There you go.
Oh boy.
All right.
No,
Thank you, sir.
No brains.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no hassle. Yeah, thankfully, apart from a couple of issues, you always expect a lot of pain when you're upgrading Unity versions. But generally, upgrading your projects should go well. Now, when I say should, that is, your mileage may vary, and should means different things to different people. But I've often been in a situation where an entire Unity project just collapses and won't load, and Unity crashes every time you open it whenever you change Unity versions. But recent Unity versions have made that a lot easier, kind of ever since maybe Unity 2021, maybe 2019 and above. Things have been a lot more stable in general. And I guess now, given that every Unity version before 2019 is compromised through whatever this most recent Unity issue was, I guess those are the only ones that we've got to deal with probably from here on out. That's not true. There's going to be a bunch of games that are going to be compromised, and they're just going to stay on the stores, and we're just not going to talk about it, okay? Everybody just needs to know that.
Okay.
It's going to steal all your information.
Reselling.
But not us.
No.
Not us. We got it updated within days of the notification. We actually last minute we were on 6.2.4 and we had to jump to 6.2.6 the day before release in order to get the fixes in for that particular issue that Unity announced. Yeah, like I said, I still don't really fully understand the severity of it because, yeah, I've read some stuff on it, but I'm not sure under what conditions it can really cause.
It's if you open links in Android, then it can do code injection.
Yes, which
So
seems
imagine
pretty
someone.
scary.
So imagine if I don't know if banter : as a link type still exists, but for example, in other apps, if you register one of those things, you have different types of apps. But essentially, if I had, for example, VR chat : and then the name of a space, and then I click that on my phone normally, nothing to do with being in VR
It's
chat or
kind of
anything,
visible for me
then
too.
the web browser would trigger the operating system to actually handle it, and it's that handling part of it which was the bit which was potentially compromised. So that's my understanding anyway.
Nice.
I think Static has a question for you. He keeps jumping.
Go for
So
it.
I just looked into
Just
it
got a
earlier.
piggy.
So with Big Screen regarding the local movies, it is as you said. So everyone does have to have the file, and it has to be synchronized within the room. So they don't have that just yet. And also,
Gotcha.
they have that cloud browser, so people can play online games, movies together, etc., without a PC. But it's a paid service.
Gotcha. Yes, I was aware that they had a browser you had to pay for. That was something I was aware
There
of.
you go. So
Yeah, I mean
I'm the
there you
one with
go.
egg on my face.
Ah well, at least we're going to be in a position where we've got something that's a bit more compelling, let's say, than what
There you
you can
go.
get over there on big screen, and that being their primary kind of use case, let's say. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's definitely going to be pretty cool to be able to play with that sort of stuff and to do that sort of streaming on the fly without having to do any complex setup or use a separate PC. Yeah. Yeah, streaming's going to be cool. It's going to be a big deal in the coming weeks. There's going to be lots of cool stuff. I mean, the hope is in general, not just for banter, but in VR in general, that it's going to put more eyes on what's going on in these virtual worlds, and hopefully that has the impact of driving more interest, engagement in VR overall, right? And that's right on the money when it comes to the sort of goals that we've got here at SideQuest. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's all been moving very quickly because we only really discovered that there was a sort of a technology that made it possible. So we've kind of been diverting a little bit of resource here and there to jazz it up. I'll tell you what, go ahead,
Yeah,
Barry. I've got to jump actually pretty
one
soon,
more
but
really quick
I'll
one.
take one more question.
I'm sure this is an easy one to answer. Does SideQuest and Banter have the same minimum age limit for users?
Yes.
And what is it?
Yes.
What is it?
It's different depending on the country.
Okay.
But it's generally the lowest is 13.
Okay, so if I have a world that I can let those people go in and go mucky and I don't go in there myself, would that not be helpful? I've talked to you about it privately, but I would love to be able to have a place that I can say, if you're not going to tell me how old you are, go here, rather than go to jail, because then at least they can go and muck things up, and I don't care. It's another one of those block.
Yes,
worlds.
I get you.
That's why I want to have it. It is.
Yeah.
I don't want to be famous because I'm killing kids.
Right. That took a turn there, I will say.
But you are famous.
Well, and I mean,
it's
of course,
hard to
I
follow.
mean that figuratively. My grandchildren would be very upset if they heard me say that. So,
Oh no.
okay. Anyway, if you can feature,
well, look, yeah, I mean, like,
feature
there's
that world,
actually,
that would be great.
There's ways to, yeah, I mean, we can feature it. I think the the worry just there is that it's very similar, right? And that there's not really much distinctive from it apart from that you want to
Oh,
put different
no,
people
you
there.
haven't been there.
I think maybe
It's a pit.
it's
a huge pit, and they fall in the pit.
right
So
built out in
it's
the
good. We can boil them down there too, as well.
yes.
So,
Right, I see.
You can
Okay.
boil them.
Big
This
Richard.
is getting a bit strange,
I know.
if I'm honest.
It's meant
It's
to be
reminiscent
fun.
of what we did in the past. Do you remember?
Always goes
We
dark.
had
It's also
those
Halloween, you know.
thunder and lightning storms
Yeah, exactly,
sometimes
yeah.
where you could go and
It's still happening.
electrocute all the new people coming into the campfire.
Anyway,
Do you
if there's a
remember,
place,
those times.
if there's a place for younger people to go, it would be great. So thank you if you can do it.
Well, listen, if you
called
were interested
Yeah.
in that kind of thing, there's a load of ways you can control access in your space or even implement your own tools, right? You've got the ability to send people to a certain world, and you can detect when users are joining your world. And if you put those two things together, you can build a system that lets you send people to another world. And it's not by using hacky methods, by having to drop a portal on their position or something like that. But you can explicitly do it, right? You can make a button that people click and they go to another world. So that might be a good way to do that if that's what you want to do in your space,
Sure.
if you get what I mean.
Yep.
But I'm not too sure about having a space that's dedicated for that. And if I'm honest, one of the reasons I'd be reluctant to do that is because we actually had that approach here before, where we were going. It was a name that we called it. We didn't call it. It was basically a shadow banning system, right? That if people picked the gorilla tag space when they first joined, they
Yes.
got shadow banned into another thing, right? And it started to segment users out in one area over others. And I mean, the problem with that is that us featuring that, or us being involved in that or endorsing that, of course, means that we're kind of creating a situation that's putting kids into a large area that we all just ignore, and
Right. Okay.
something
Bad people
something
can go
could
there.
happen in there,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
it's a really difficult thing to try to navigate, because we want to try and do the best we can to not cause any issue or harm for anybody, right? But at the same time, we only have a certain amount of power ourselves.
Okay.
So
But-
I would say if you want to do what you want to do in your world, in your space, then that's outside of our hands.
Okay.
And that's you making those decisions.
Okay.
And if you can build a system that will that you can press buttons to send people to other worlds, even not the AFK jail world, let's
Right,
say.
okay.
But that'd be a reason why I wouldn't want to have a world featured just for that purpose,
Okay.
for it to be
All right.
you know.
Well, I call it the all
I got a
ages.
suggestion.
all the
He puts a
youngsters end up-
he puts a.
I call it an all ages world
Oh,
right now.
my suggestion is you put a. Oh,
Go ahead. Good delay.
my suggestion was in your world you put a big button that says "Don't press this button," and anybody that does goes wherever you
good.
want them to
Launches them
go.
into the air.
Yeah, we're all going to press the
You
button.
damn right you are.
Yes,
Right?
we're all going to press that
Oh
button.
yeah.
A giant Monty Python style foot just drops out of the sky.
Yes,
That's right.
That's right.
kicks you away.
Perfect. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Okay, yes.
Run
Yeah,
away,
no problem at all.
Shane. Before
have to
you
bounce.
run
Go,
through
we
here
want to
another
talk
20
about you.
minutes.
I have to go and yeah. Okay. Nice. All right. Well, listen. Thanks, guys, and keep an eye out. There's going to be some big updates soon. There's going to be loads of cool stuff with streaming, so I'll be excited to show you all of that when it's ready.
2 weeks.
Anyway, talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Bye-bye.
For everyone that's still here, I just wanted to let you know we are going to be doing